It's my pleasure to introduce Stephen Christian from Iltopia. How's it going, Stephen?
Oh yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Ooh, looks like I am having a little bit.
Got a little reverb going there.
Yeah, a little bit of reverb.
Well, cool. I just want to kick it off by I'd love to hear kind of the story. Like, how did you start Iltopia? What's your background? This got you going down this path of doing comics and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. So for me, it was really about sort of exploring my creativity and trying to create opportunities that I didn't have when I left college and stuff. And so for those that are unaware, I used to play for the Beavers. So I was an Oregon State football player, and I ended up having 2 hip surgeries that led me down this path of am I going to still be an athlete? Am I going to still be able to be pursue my dreams of being successful and having a actual career or profession? And for me, football was sort of the thing, and then it got cut short. And so then I really sort of explored other avenues. First it was art and comics and stuff. I saw that as an avenue essentially for as therapy. And then as I started posting stuff, people started reaching out and saying, "Hey, I like that. I want to buy it. Make me something." And it was just sort of that natural progression of things that just sort of grew over and over time. And so as I sort of moved to Portland and started to get into the maker space and being an entrepreneur, it you just got deeper and deeper into that. And so for me, it was really an avenue to really sort of create my own opportunities from my creativity.
When did it kind of change from that, oh, people like your art, to an actual brand that you wanted to go after?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy, honestly, because you're sitting there and you're just making stuff and you're thinking about things, literally just regular thoughts that we all have. And then you just sort of put them out into the world. And then people say "Hey, take my money." And I'm like, okay.
That's funny. How did you come up with the name?
So the name Iltopia was honestly the last thing that I came up with throughout sort of this journey, right? So when all this started, this was me prior to coming to Oregon. I actually lived in Hawaii and I played football there. And so I had this brand, or I started this blog called Stuck on an Island. And it's sort of a play on, it's sort of football jargon for, because I was a defensive back. So it's football jargon for when a cornerback is guarding a wide receiver out and there's no sort of help, then he's sort of stuck on an island. And so he has to essentially, he's the only line of defense to stop that receiver from scoring. And so I sort of played around with that and sort of built that brand of the island, but instead of ISLAND, it's EYELAND. And so I sort of created that sort of blog and started making stuff from there. And then afterwards I was like, okay, well, this is beyond just a blog. This is me creating a world, but it's sort of this dystopian world. And so sort of playing with utopia, but it's sort of ill, your sickness. It's actually cool. I make cool stuff. So then I was like, okay, Iltopia. And I sort of just put that together literally at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was just one of those just random thoughts. And so from there, I just sort of found the domain name, realized nobody's using Iltopia, and I just kind of ran with it.
Man, if you can get a domain name, it's golden.
Yeah. Yeah. Domain name and social handles. I was just yes. And so, I played around with a lot of different names, but I couldn't get the domain name and the social handles. And so that's what sort of made the ultimate decision to Iltopia.
Cool. And then when you played DB at OSU, did you have an art background?
Wait, say it again.
So you're playing DB at OSU, and then you do this. Did you study art at OSU, or do you have an art background?
Yeah, so I ended up choosing my major, the program, to actually learn more about art. And so I think I was making comics for, I want to say in I want to say like probably like a year or two prior to that. And so that was sort of like my introduction and stuff like that. And so then when I got to OSU, they had a program that would actually support that. And so I sort of knew what I wanted, and then I just kind of got my in the job training. And so while I was actually going to school, I was also like working for the newspaper. And so yeah. So I developed my art background a little bit further at OSU.
That's awesome. As we kind of head into like some of the products you make and stuff like that, and we can talk through some of them as we have the conversation. One of the ones I was drawn to is just the Black superheroes and like your vision around those. Maybe you can just talk a little about like how you saw the importance of representation in superheroes and like what led you down the path to create like that series and the focus on that.
Yeah. So for me, it was when I finished playing, and as I was sort of developing this whole brand around Iltopia and stuff, the big thing that I really wanted to explore was, because this was back in 2015. So like the big thing I really wanted to explore was how to address the areas of Black representation, right? And so essentially when we're talking about representation, it's just like you just don't see yourself. And so because you don't see yourself, you don't have the opportunity to envision yourself as something beyond just a stereotype. And so honestly, like I really, I got a sketchbook, and I was, couch surfing in LA, and I was just like, okay, I have art supplies, I have all these different things. And, and as I try to find a job, let me just make stuff and put it on the internet like I normally do. And so I really started off with literally making this image right here. Like I started off with this image, and I was just like, okay, like put it on the internet. People liked it. And then I made another image, and people liked it. And then afterwards, I just started thinking like, okay, what if I just every single day make a new illustration that sort of resonated with my childhood, and but I would do very specific things with it. It has to resonate with me in terms of like the theme and the characters. They all have to be Black children, and they all have to have sort of like those stereotypical, Black features. So a wider nose, darker skin, fuller lips. And I will stick to that, and I will just see where it goes. And so I did that every single day for 108 days. And I ended up with essentially tons of illustration. Like they're all handmade illustration, right? And so from there, I was just like, okay, I have tons of art. I'm probably not going to sell this if I sell them as original copies. Nobody really knows my name as an artist. So then I'll just like make a coffee table book. And so I essentially just made this book here, and I just put all the illustrations that I made into it. And I essentially just, used a whole bunch of color. And I just, sort of just like express myself in terms of like, what would a book look like if it was sort of Afrocentric and it focuses on representation for Black people in comics and cartoons? What would that look like? And for me, it was just like I didn't really see a reference point, so I just made it. And then from there, I put it out, and then people were like, "Oh my gosh, I love this! Why don't you make stickers?" And so then I started making stickers. And so it was just this natural progression of just like playing with ideas and then trying things out. And so yeah, it's definitely been a very interesting project to take on, and just the response from people that love it. It's been really good.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, let's talk about some of the products. I don't know if the reverb, if you can do that, it's coming through still a little bit, Steven, just a heads up on that. So talk about the stickers, like your sticker packs and stuff like that, what people can buy on the marketplace.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you said there's like a little bit of a reverb. Yeah, so let me actually get some headphones to actually like fix the problem.
So while Steven steps away, it's a fine time to talk about you too can wear all of this built gear. It anybody has questions, keep your head warm, your beanie. Buy the built gear on our sites.
Okay, so I think we're back.
Good time.
I think the reverb is gone. Hopefully, yeah. So with the sticker packs, so I have the Black Superheroes Matter sticker pack, and this has sort of an assortment of various like superhero themed stickers that we have, and then I also have sort of this line of cute stickers that I started developing to really explore what cuteness and blackness would look like. And so currently, if you look up cute blackness, you won't really find any. And so I really started making different stickers like this that that really sort of speak to that. And so, you know, this is part of the cutie catcher pack. And so you'll find these with the other stickers that I have, but you know, different various designs of different characters that I've just created over time with my you know, essentially with my main characters from Iltopia, and it's just really to explore just like what does cute cuddly blackness look like, and how to sort of represent that in a way that generates sort of mass buy-in from those that just aren't necessarily black, but just people in general, you know, because for me, these are just cute sticker, but and the kicker is that they're black characters, and so that is sort of the flip that I have on it.
That's awesome. Well, I can't let you go without giving the people a little demo of the AR side of things too.
Oh, yeah. You can't.
I can't let you go without the AR.
Yes. So anybody that does not know about my work, I work in the intersections of art and technology, right? And so I sort of try to focus on representation, but it's really just like making that eye candy that really just like allows things to pop off the page, quite literally. And so this is my main character named Roscoe. He's sort of a rambunctious kid, but sometimes he gets sad. And so, you know, you could see that it says that like no one believes in me. And so when you shine your phone over it, he actually comes to life. And
so
he's
amazing.
moving around too. And so just really sort of exploring technology in a way that's sort of crazy. And so this is like a picture of like Roscoe's room, and this is his teddy bear Nimbus. And often, like, you know, we always think like, what happens to our stuffed animals when we leave them alone in our messy room? What would happen? You know? And so if I could get it, he just likes to, you know, break it down. He's a dance bug.
Roscoe likes to have fun.
Oh yeah. He surrounds himself with fun company, and so really, you know, a lot of the stuff that I do is focused on being culturally relevant. You know, it's being innovative and really creating immersive experiences. And so with it, you know, anybody that purchases any of the augmented reality stuff, and I believe I have like a holiday AR bundle that you could purchase, and you know, you just buy the stuff, download the free app on the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, and then you really just enjoy the experience. And you know, during quarantine, you know, we could use a little extra pizzazz in our life. And so
that's the reality we live in, right? Anyway,
it's wild, but you know, it really sort of it changes the way that we experience things. And for, you know, first and foremost, you know, for me, I'm always looking for ways to introduce people to new forms of entertainment, and also just sort of expand looks like to essentially, you know, like being an industry that is more represented. And so for that, yeah, I'm just having fun right now. Like it's fun just making books, making apps, animation and stuff, and then just putting out into the world and sharing it with people.
So think of yourself a year or two down the road. What do you want to have? Like, what's the dream for Iltopia? I'm going to end on this question.
Yeah, that is a very good question. I guess a side note is that I'm also applying to medical school, so I'm going through that whole thing right now. So a year from now, I will hopefully be in medical school, but I will also be in a position where Iltopia Studios, as a creative studio, is continuing to create the same work, and I'm able to provide opportunities for other people that don't have those opportunities to create, to essentially use the platform to create their own stuff, much like the AR stuff that I'm doing, or the stickers, or the other books, or all the creator crits or anything. And so it's really scaling a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now, and then bringing more people on board to continue sort of paying it forward to the community and everything.
That's awesome. Steven, man, thank you so much for spending a little time with us today, and wish you well, stay safe.